Estate Exposed with Dan Beer and Todd Pianin. How you doing, Todd?
I'm doing great.
I'm excited to be here with all of you today. We're going to have a great show. We're going to be jumping back into the discussion about mortgage banker versus broker versus going to one of the big banks and what you need to know to make sure you're going to save thousands, plus a lot of heartache. We're going to discuss the 5-day Blitz marketing strategy that if you're thinking about selling your home anytime soon, you want to do something different than everybody else on your block so you could get a different result. And jobs continue going overseas. I myself am a culprit of it. I've just sent 2 jobs overseas in the past week. Why? What do you think about that? Is that the right thing, the wrong thing, and how does it affect our markets? We'd love to hear your opinion on that. And we're going to also address the most talked about topic out there that home sellers, the biggest thing home sellers like to say is they don't like to give their home away. Todd, we're going to go ahead and address that directly. And we are live here in studio. This is Real Estate Exposed on News Radio 600 KOGO. And the number here is 800-600-KOGO if you'd like to give us a call. But Todd, first, it's Mother's Day, and it is a beautiful morning to be spending with all of you.
It's a great morning to spend with everybody, and I have to tell you this morning, I have to wish a happy Mother's Day to my wife. It's her first Mother's Day, and she's a wonderful mother and a beautiful wife, and I totally love being around her. I don't know about you, Dan, but this morning I was getting up and I had all these plans of all these things I wanted to do for her before we had to come in and do the radio show. Wanted to get the baby up, got the baby a special little outfit for today. Today it says Happy First Mother's Day, love you, mommy. And I got a whole bunch of pictures and all this stuff that I wanted to spread around the house. But of course, as usual, I slept too long, but at least I was able to put the little onesie on that said Happy Mother's Day. And
you better have.
I did.
And we're going to do something a little bit different this morning. If you have a story that you'd like to honor your mother, your wife for Mother's Day, feel free to call in right here and we'll bring you on air at 800-600-KOGO. So has Mother's Day always been a big day in your family?
It's been a big day in my family. Obviously, we want to honor our moms and everybody else's moms that are out there. I think it's a special day. I also think that we should treat our wives, because Dan and I both have kids, and so we should treat our wives very, very special today, and they deserve it because they do a lot for us and I do a lot for our children. So I know that my almost 1-year-old daughter and my 7-year-old son would not survive if it were not for my wife, who's a great mother and very loving and very caring, but also she can be a good disciplinarian too, because I'm a pushover.
Well, I want to give a special tribute to all of you mothers listening, and I have a son that'll be turning 1 at the end of this year.
At the end of this month, Dan.
At the end of this month, excuse me. At the end of this month, I have a son turning 1 year old, and I grew up loving and honoring my mother, but it wasn't until I saw what my wife does with our son that I really understood what goes into being a mom. It is a beautiful, godly, special, just precious thing. The work that you put into it every single day as a mother should not just be celebrated today, but year round. And God bless you, and hopefully you'll have a beautiful day here with your family.
We love all those moms out there.
And we actually have a special Mother's Day gift for you. We have a special Mother's Day gift for you. Todd and I have put together a special report called The 8 Secrets for Saving Thousands When Finding, Buying, and Financing Your Next Home. And this report is big, it's extensive, it's 19 pages. We put it together for you, and we're going to offer it free today. All you have to do is text your email to the following number. This will come right straight to Todd's cell phone, and we will email this report out to you, which has seriously some of the best information we've ever gathered into one place. It is the 8 Secrets for Saving Thousands When Finding, Buying, and Financing Your Next Home. That phone number for you to text your email address to is 858-432-3868. Again, that's 858-432-3868. You're listening to Real Estate Exposed with Dan Beer and Todd Pianin. And we will get that shot off to you as soon as possible come tomorrow morning, because we will be honoring the mothers today.
Exactly.
Make sure you shoot that out, though.
I will.
So, Todd, bring us back to the discussion regarding the difference between a mortgage banker, a broker, and a big lender, because I was in front of a lot of home buyers this weekend. yesterday. We had a huge event, which actually we're going to discuss a little bit more detail later on in the show. But
yeah, my phone was going crazy. My phone was blowing up.
It was so your phone. So I want to understand, because a lot of people were asking the question. Like they came with their lender, but what is the difference really? Why does someone want to use a mortgage banker, and what is the difference between that and a broker or a big bank?
So let's just make it real simple. We've got three different rules. Three different types of people. We've got the mortgage banker, which would be more of like a big bank person, someone who works at Wells Fargo, Chase, U.S. Bank, Bank of America. Basically, all they're going to do is they're a mortgage banker. Then you have a mortgage banker hybrid, which is what we are at Samuel Scott. And then you also have the mortgage broker. So mortgage banker, let's call them big bank mortgage banker. What they're doing is they're basically going to sell you, or they only have the products that their bank is currently offering. So meaning that they can't sell you something if Wells Fargo has X, that's all that they can sell you. They can't sell you what's going on at Bank of America. The mortgage broker has the ability to send your loan anywhere, wherever lenders that they're approved to, whoever they're approved with. So they can shoot it all over town to different places, but they have no control over those types of relationships. They're just firing off.
They're just dishing it out. They're making the assist.
They're making the assist, and they're hoping that they've got a good relationship somewhere, and they're going to get the deal closed on time.
So just truly, what is the benefit of using the hybrid that you described yourself as?
So the hybrid, we actually have our own warehouse lines. We actually sell closed loans. So what we do is we have the ability of a broker, which means we have the ability to shop to a Chase, to a Wells Fargo, to a Bank of America, all across the place, to every lender that's out there, to find the cheapest money and the best money we possibly can find for somebody. And then after we draw the loan, we underwrite the loan ourselves, we draw the loan documents ourselves, then we fund the loan ourselves, and afterwards we actually sell it off to one of those big banks, or we may decide to service it ourselves. So basically it's about control. I'm kind of a control freak, Dan. I don't like to give up control. I don't like to wait for somebody to make a decision for me. I don't like to fire something into the air and see if hopefully it hits or hopefully somebody does it. I like to be able to grab an underwriter and say, here's what I'm thinking, here's why I need this done, can I get this done?
And there's more on that in the big free special report that we have. If you want to get that special report emailed straight to you, just go ahead and email text your email address to 858-432-3868. Todd will make sure that you get that report immediately. And we're going to head in. We're going to be right back, because up next we have a discussion with if you're going to be selling your home and you'd like 42 home buyers in your house, all in a 3-hour window, all clawing, elbowing, fighting each other to buy the house, and not focused on you as the home seller. So not fighting you, but fighting each other. You'll want to be with us. Up next, that's what we're going to be discussing on Real Estate Exposed News Radio 600 KOGO. You're back on News Radio 600 KOGO. This is Real Estate Exposed. Dan Beer and Todd Pianin. We're live in studio, and the call-in number is 800-600 KOGO. And yesterday I had an amazing experience. So
yeah, we got to talk about this, Dan. I was at the Verizon store switching my phone out, and all of a sudden, I must tell you, within 20 minutes, I must have had about 15 people blow my phone up. What were you doing yesterday?
So yesterday was the final step in what we call our 5-day Blitz marketing event. And this is just the coolest thing going on for home sellers right now, because let's admit it. If you're selling your home, or if you've recently sold it, if your home is recently expired and you were on the market for 6 months and it didn't happen, that process, I could bet within a very reasonable range of accuracy, it probably looked something like this. You had some pictures taken. The home went up on the multiple listing service. They told you that they also got it up on 100 websites.
Is this the list and pray model? This
is the list and pray model that most agents out there will use, and they'll tell you that your home, they put it up on 100 websites and they'll pound their chest for it. When in reality, let's call it out. This is one of my favorite things on this show, Real Estate Exposed, to do, is to call out all the BS that you're going to be fed out there by I mean, by a good portion of the people that you're bound to interact with. And so those 100 websites that they supposedly put your home on, guess what? It would have happened regardless of who you listed your house with.
What do you mean?
Because
those
sites, just all those hundreds of websites that they pointed to, as soon as you go on MLS, your home is syndicated, meaning that it's literally automatically shot off to all those sites and posted. So there was nothing special done for you. And so
wait. So what you're saying is if I put my house on the MLS with a realtor, it goes to like all these sites automatically?
All those sites go out automatically. Every agent-owned site. It's a technology called IDX technology. Every agent website out there, including mine, no matter who lists your home in San Diego County, it'll be on my website. It'll be on the next agent's website.
Got it.
So nothing special was done. So basically the process is typically list it, take some pictures, post it on the internet, pray the offer comes in, and conduct showings. Specifically, this is the key differentiator, conduct showings one at a time. So when your home last sold, or if it was, unfortunately on the market and expired, I would bet that that's roughly the process that was followed is buyer Tom got to see your home at 10 a.m. on Wednesday because that was convenient to him. And buyer Betty got to see your home on Thursday at 2 p.m. because that was convenient to her.
Right. What about the seller? Not convenient for the seller, though, right?
Horribly inconvenient to the seller. And I'll admit that the 5-day Blitz marketing strategy, then with the big grand opening events that we run, it was never actually conceived to reduce the inconvenience factor off the seller's shoulder.
Right.
But is probably the biggest thing we get complimented on because aside from the awesome valuations and just great price, quick market time that the seller will experience, it's something that I didn't foresee how much a seller would appreciate not having to open up their home one buyer at a time over the course of months, but rather get it all geared up for one big grand opening. And you are listening to Real Estate Exposed with Dan Beer and Todd Pianin. We're live in studio. The phone number here is 800-600-KOGO. Last time your home was sold, did it sound something like that? Did they use the listed and pray plan?
I got a question for you. Give them the option about our secrets. Tell them about our secrets.
So how did we have 42 people during one 3-hour window yesterday? Okay, 42 different buyer groups during one 3-hour window.
Were they all represented by like different realtors and stuff like that, Dan? Or
a lot of them were. A lot of them were represented by their agents, and actually part of the strategy involves that it's not listed and pray. It's actually go out and prospect heavily, strategically coordinating an effort where we funnel all the activity into one small window. And part of that has to do with contacting every relevant agent out there and tapping into their database. Going through our own database.
So you don't keep all this like as a secret. You're calling everyone.
We're calling like crazy. We're going to call your neighbor and ask, who do you know that wants to move into the neighborhood? Just think about it. Your neighbors if you're in a neighborhood where people like to live, which most people like their neighborhood, that's why they live there. Okay, so if you like your neighborhood, so does your neighbor. And your neighbor tells people at work, tells their family, tells their friends. And so basically we're all champions of the place we live in. And so we call the neighbor and then we'll ask, Mr. Neighbor, as a courtesy to you, we wanted to make sure you knew that, 123 Main Street's about to go on the market. And here's what it offers. Here's the best features. Who do you know that's looking for a home like this? That's a key question. Who do you know that's looking for a home like this?
Do the neighbors ever get like upset that you're calling?
No. When the neighbor finds out ahead of time of what's coming on the market that they're not yet aware of, and it turns out that their coworker Bob actually has been thinking about a home in their neighborhood, and coworker Bob now gets to basically tap into that before anybody else out there. They love it. They get to look like heroes. They get to look like they have the inside scoop, and who doesn't like having the inside scoop?
True that.
So there's a whole long process which I'm very happy to go with through with you off air, but there's a long prospecting, heavily involved process that we use to then literally invite people to a grand opening event, which we had yesterday, Todd, and that's why your phone was getting blown up, where all of that is strategically funneled into a 3-hour window. Because think about this. What happens earlier I described? What happens when you were selling your home and you finally did get an offer and it had been on the market for a month, and then John, who got to see the home at his convenience Wednesday at 3 o'clock, finally makes you an offer? Who is John, in your opinion? Who is John fighting against? Who is John negotiating against? He's negotiating against you, the seller, right? He's negotiating against you, the seller. His entire focus, his mindset, his goal is what?
To get the best price for himself.
Is how low can I get the seller? How low can I get you, Mr. Seller? That's what he's focused on. Now, if you put yourself, try to imagine yourself at this event that we held yesterday for one of our sellers, where there's 42 other buyers that you're bumping elbows with and running into.
It's like a frenzy.
You're exactly. And the focus is now being shifted from how low can I get the seller? It's actually now shifted to who else here is going to make an offer, and am I willing to make a better offer?
Right.
That's a tremendous, very profound psychological shift for a buyer to go through. And so it's all about having it's all about having an actual strategy that
one of the things I thought was really weird was, like I said, my phone was blowing up and I was getting all kinds of calls, that people were saying, I want this house, and I talked to the agent, and the agent said I need to talk to you to get pre-approved if you want a shot at the house. I mean, it was pretty crazy, Dan.
It's just a big psychological shift. The entire home selling process is really about understanding how a buyer even comes to think about wanting to buy a home, how they think about which homes they're going to want to look at, how they're going to want to make an offer, when they're going to make an offer, and really how they come into that entire experience.
Is this bad for the buyers?
Well, I mean, quite honestly, in that situation, I'm hired to work for the seller.
Right.
And for that reason, because we do represent a lot of buyers.
Right.
For that reason is why our team is actually split into specialty roles, where our buyer specialists are actually out ahead of the market trying to get our buyers into homes before the market, the rest of the market is in tune. And a lot of that is covered in the free special report that you and I put together. And again, this is a special Mother's Day gift that here on News Radio 600 KOGO, Real Estate Exposed. You are listening to Dan and Todd live in studio. This is part of what's covered for our buyer's sake in that report, 8 Secrets for Saving Thousands when finding, buying, and financing your home. And so it's something that if you want to get a free copy of that report, you can text 858-432-3868. All you have to do is text your name and email address to that. It is 858-432-3868. We'll shoot it right off to you. It's something we've never done here live on air, is to give our personal phone number out, but this is Mother's Day, and it's our free Mother's Day gift to you. So we'd be very happy to share that report with you, because you're right, Todd. It is getting involved in that kind of, just basically ending up at the next house that's listed on Zillow.
Right.
I mean, any buyer can find that house.
Right.
Right? Any buyer can find that house. But
so when do you can I just ask this question, because I don't want to take some of your secrets away, but does this house go on the MLS right away so it gets syndicated out there, or do you put it on the MLS like 2 days before? I mean, that marketing strategy involves 2 phases, and one is the offline phase, where there is a heavy prospecting effort. We have 2 people that are full-time employed on our team. Their entire job is to literally make outbound phone calls to anybody who may possibly be tapped into somebody else who is thinking about a home like the one you're going to sell, and then inviting them to the event. Really, what we've done is taken the process that the big home builders use, the Standard Pacifics and the Toll Brothers and the Pulte Homes and all those, that crowd. And if you think about it, they have these are multi-$100 million companies, if not billion-dollar companies, and they have all of the testing budget that you could ever want to have to perfect the perfect sales process. Right.
And so would it make more sense for our team to do what we've seen every agent before us do, or would it make more sense? And by the way, those agents were just simply doing what they saw agents before them do.
Right.
Or would it make more sense for us to do what we have seen these huge, successful companies who sell thousands and thousands and thousands of homes a year.
And have wait lists for homes as well.
That's what we do, right? So we would create a big interest list offline, bring it online, further funnel that interest list into the grand opening event, and kick the thing off. So you're listening to Dan and Todd on Real Estate Exposed, News Radio 600 KOGO. Coming up next, we're going to talk about job loss here locally and if it's right to offshore jobs. So I just hired somebody in the Philippines, 2 people actually. How about that? You're listening, and this is the Real Estate Exposed on News Radio 600 KOGO. This is Dan Beer and Todd Pianin.
So how does a realtor hire 2 people in the Philippines?
I just hired 2 people in the Philippines full-time to join my team. And this touches on a big topic of outsourcing jobs. How does that happen? How does a realtor here hire somebody in the Philippines? Easiest cake. I mean, honestly, those are the easiest hires I've ever had. I believe wholeheartedly that I just brought on absolute workhorses.
Right.
That are going to do tremendous work for our team, be completely dedicated, be extremely thankful, and just deeply committed to the work that they're going to do because of how much it means to them to be able to bring money to their family.
But you took 2 jobs out of San Diego, Dan.
And I did it all for the beautiful price of $8.60, including the finder's fee monthly to the company. So the employee, I believe, is actually only getting about $4.20 of that $8.60.
Wow.
So what do you think about that? I mean, what do you think about offshoring jobs? Because I'll tell you what I think about it. I actually think it sucks. I think it's terrible. I wish I didn't have to do it. But I also know that I'm not paying workers' comp. I'm not paying payroll taxes and employment taxes and Social Security. And I'm not being bled to death by our government. Not only our federal government, but our local state government.
Yeah, I mean, taxes in the state are ridiculous. Workman's comp is ridiculous. Hourly minimum wage. I mean, talking about raising the minimum wage to $13 an hour. What is that going to do to the cost of a cheeseburger at McDonald's is my question.
If you have a thought on this, you can call us live here in studio at 800-600-KOGO. That's 800-600-KOGO.
So, explain to me, Dan, how you can. Well, let me ask another question. So basically, with all the cost and expense that's out there on local employees and what the government's doing and what Jerry Brown and all the taxes he's putting on everything and everyone. I mean, how do you think this affects the real estate economy? How when we're seeing all these jobs leave, we're seeing a ton of jobs leave and go overseas. I.e., you just hired 2 assistants, obviously, that you're doing in the Philippines. These are 2 potential buyers of homes that we could be buying here. But it's the idea of them not being here locally stinks. By
the way, these people are sharp. Their English is impressive. Their writing skills are impressive. I mean, You need to wake up if you don't think that there are people all over the world getting up earlier than you do, getting ready to go to work, getting ready to provide for their family, find a better way, sharpen their skills, and get their life to a better place. And in this world, with the technology and the internet and everything else that exists, no matter how much our politicians try to create a closed economy, a controlled economy with the minimum wage and hikes constantly and everything else that goes on here.
Well, that's one thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Is that we're talking about that we're at a 5% unemployment rate. But do you realize the data that comes off of that 5% unemployment rate, Dan, is only people who've actually reported that they're unemployed? Or
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a false sense, right? We're getting this false kind of sense that the economy is doing so much better today.
Right.
And it's not doing so much better because you only get unemployment I've never been on unemployment, so I think you only get it for like 2 years. But once you don't get unemployment for 2 years, then you fall off the radar. So everybody's talking about how great it is and how wonderful it is and that we have a 5% unemployment rate, but I mean, what's the true unemployment rate? That's the question I have.
That's the question I have too, and the question I don't have an answer to. But I do know that jobs will continue leaving our shores so long as we force business owners like myself or yourself to employ at rates that are not profitable. So, I mean, you need to understand that when you're hired for a job, you as an employer, as a business owner, it is only responsible to hire somebody to do a job if it's going to create more money than what they are being paid.
Right.
And there's certain jobs, okay, flipping a burger or mopping a floor, and I'm not saying anything negative about them, but just facts are facts, folks. There's only so much value that can be built into the company to have that floor mopped. There's only so much profit and so much, just goodwill that company can build into their bottom line for having a clean floor. And at some point, it will not pencil out. And we can't see. The key is this: what a lot of people in these other countries understand, and what we need to start to understand and embrace here as a country, is that a minimum wage job is a good job. It's an important one, but it is not a career. It's one that should be used to step into the next level. It is one that should be used to sharpen your skills. It is one that should be used to do whatever you need to do. Wake up as early as you need to wake up.
And work as hard as you possibly can.
And work as hard as you possibly can in order to
get trained for your next job.
Get to that next place.
You've talked about this before as it being as a sort of a jump-off part.
You're not supposed to mop the floors for 10 years.
Right.
And the fact that you're not able to afford a home mopping that floor for 10 years makes perfect sense. You weren't supposed to be there for 10 years. You were supposed to be there just long enough to stabilize yourself, get to a night school, sharpen your skills, and then jump up into the next rung on the ladder and earn more and bring more in.
Right.
And so it's something that, I definitely don't have the solution to, but I can certainly identify the problem. And it's as much a mindset problem as anything else, because I'm telling you, at this unbelievably low rate, I have an absolute workhorse now in the Philippines that I genuinely, wholeheartedly wish was here locally with us. And I'm going to remind you that you're listening to Real Estate Exposed on News Radio 600 KOGO. It is Mother's Day, and we have a free special report for you. We'll discuss more coming up next on when we're talking about home sellers and their biggest fear of giving their home away and what you could really do about it. We're going to be right back with you, News Radio 600 KOGO. Thrilled to have you back for a final segment on Real Estate Exposed with Dan Beer and Todd Pianin. This is News Radio 600 KOGO, and we are giving away our free special report for Mother's Day that we've put together for you. It's a 19-page report that goes through everything you'd want to know that's going to affect you as a home buyer, and we called it the 8 secrets for saving thousands when finding, buying, and financing your next home. If you want a free copy of this report that we're giving out today, we've never done this before, but we're giving out our personal cell phone number, and all you have to do is text your name and email address, and we'll email it right off to you. And that number is 858-432-3868. I'll say it one more time here. That's 858-432-3868. And the topics covered are pretty impressive.
Please send your name and your email address, because I'm getting a ton of text on this. So name and email address.
Yeah, just to make sure we can sort it out correctly. And the topics are, one of the biggest fears out there for any home buyer is going to be, am I buying at the top of the market? That's addressed. That's addressed thoroughly, and it's addressed with information that truly you just need to have if you're a home buyer, and that most agents out there are just not going to give you. And most importantly, how to save thousands when financing, what to look for. And topics that truly a lot of people out there have never even heard of, such as lot sitting or home sitting, are explained, and how that will help you maximize your investment as a home buyer. So anyhow, it's Mother's Day, and we're happy to pass this off to you free.
That's our free gift to all you moms out there and all you future homeowners.
858-432-3868 is the number to text your name and email to, and we'll get it shot off immediately.
So Dan, I'm a seller, and I don't want to give my home away. How do I not give my home away?
Here's a question for you: Who does want to give their home away? Because all right, I have a gripe, and I admit it, and I'm sorry to kind of rile things up here on a beautiful Sunday morning, but I am tired of having people give me the news flash that they don't want to give their home away. Because you know what? In 10 years of doing this business and being in this business, I haven't met one person yet that wants to give their home away.
Has anyone given their home away?
No one's given their home away. You can't give your home away. Okay, folks? So just... I
talked to a client last week, and they were selling their house. They're moving down from the Bay Area, and they expected that based on their list price that they'd walk away with, let's say, $50,000 in cash
of equity after all fees.
After all fees and everything,
okay,
they're walking away with $250,000 in cash.
So they sold their house at
$200,000 over their asking price.
So, the takeaway from that is the market is efficient enough. And I was teasing earlier, okay, because I understand when people want to say they don't want to give their home away, but the fact of the matter is we could list your home at $1. You won't be giving your home away. The market is efficient enough that if you did list your home for $1, what would happen? Well, we'd have probably 350 offers by, an hour from now.
Right.
It'd be a horrific paperwork nightmare. But the market, the price will rise to near, at, above, or right below.
It's like economics class, right? It's the buyer demand versus seller demand. It's buy, sell.
Now, remember, I did just say it will rise to at, near, right above, right below the market value.
Right.
Okay, especially here in San Diego County when we're dealing with, on average, say a $500,000 house, those last $10,000, $15,000 one way, those last $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 the other way, that's what's going to be determined by the actual strategy, the pricing strategy with the marketing strategy combined that's being employed for you, and how, is it just a listed and pray plan, or is it a strategic process that's orchestrated specifically and carefully to funnel all activity into a set showing window in which we will have a buyer competition play out so that they could figure out who's going to pay the most and under the best terms for your home. That's where your agent's going to earn their money, and that's where you're going to have made a good decision based on who you hired to implement an actual strategy, or did you just simply, hire? I'm going to say it. Did you just simply hire a monkey to put your house on the internet, or did you hire a home selling specialist to implement a specific strategy? And so, you're just not giving your home away, guys.
So what does that mean, though? Give your home away, Dan? What are these sellers saying to you that they're scared they're going to give their home away? They're going to put their house on the market for too cheap?
It's understandable it's understandable if you just put yourself in the mindset of someone that's going to go sell their home and think about it that, you might have owned your home for 20 years and it's been a long time since you have sold a home. So I do empathize with that. And I think really ultimately a home seller is just trying to get that fear on the table of, hey, I really do need my equity. I really do need everything I can get out of this because I'm going to be moving on in my life to the next step or to something else. And this is going to be very important for me. So please, let's make sure we get the most for it.
But when you meet with the seller, I'm assuming that when you meet with the seller, you tell them what you're going to be able to sell their house for. And so I'm assuming that they're not going to be giving it away.
Well, I'll actually tell you that when I meet with a seller, I never tell someone specifically exactly what they're going to sell their house for. Because here's a challenge to any of you listening. And we're live here in studio on News Radio 600 KOGO, and the call-in number is 800-600-KOGO. Any of you, if you right now listening to us, I have a challenge for you. What is the specific price of your home? What is the specific penny dollar value of your home? And there isn't one. It's going to be in a range this way or that way, and that's why the neighbor sold for one price, but the neighbor on the other side of you sold for another. So I never give someone the exact price they're going to sell their home for. Our goal, okay, when you're hiring an agent, a lot of people aren't even clear what they're hiring their agent for.
Right.
When you're selling your home and hiring an agent, what you're really doing is that agent's job is complete if they find the market and bring it to you. They have to find the market and strategically bring it to your home in a purposeful manner. And there has to be a price strategy. There has to be a price strategy. I use that word purposefully. That is supportive of the marketing plan. A price strategy could be to price high and build in quote unquote negotiating room, which I highly suggest against.
Right, because that's the seller who's worried about giving their home away.
A seller worried about giving their home away might do that, but an agent that's well equipped with actual statistics and proof of why that would be a bad idea should be able to overcome that. A price strategy, like I said, could be to price your home at $1, just to be facetious and give you the opposite example. Or a price strategy could be to price your home right on the money of what, right about where you think it's worth roughly.
Mm-hmm.
Or all while paying credence to the virtual shelf space of the internet world in which buyers will find your home to begin with using online searches and how that plays into the price strategy. So, Todd, we discussed price strategies. And if we have the right price strategy and the right marketing strategy, the buyers, the market will come to your home. And if the market comes to the home, now we can say what every agent out there will say. Agents are famous for saying, I will get you the most the market will bear. I say the same thing. But I challenge anybody to prove to me that they really got the most the market could bear if they only had 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 buyers trickle in over the course of weeks or months and then finally had an offer.
Haven't you've gone on recent listing presentations, you told me that people have had their house on the market for six months?
People have, if you have your house on the market for 6 months and you got X amount from someone that, you had 10 showings over those 6 months and finally had some kind of offer, that, that is not the most the market could bear or would bear. But I do make that same claim, the most the market will bear, but that's because I understand that my job is actually to bring the market to your house. And so this is a special Mother's Day edition of Real Estate Exposed on News Radio 600 KOGO. And we would love to spend more time with you, but because we are almost out of time, I do want to once again share the number for you to go ahead. And we are doing something that we've never done before. We are letting you text our personal number with your name and email address to get our free special report on the 8 secrets for saving thousands when finding, buying, and financing your next home. And that phone number is 858-432-3868. Again, that's 858-432-3868. There's invaluable information here. We've spent a ton of time putting it together for you. And Todd,
please send your first name and your email address and just text it to us, and we will get it to you tomorrow.
We'll have it for you immediately tomorrow. It'll come right to your email address. We've loved spending Mother's Day with you.
It's been a great show. It's been a great day. We love all you mothers out there. Enjoy your day.
Mom, I love you. Liat, my beautiful wife, I love you so much. Can't wait to spend the day with you. Go kiss your mom. Go kiss your wife.
Tara, I love you. Talk to you soon. Call your mom.
And yeah, give your mom a call.
That was our producer telling you to call your mom and say hi.
We've had an awesome day with you. I'm Dan Beer at Windermere Homes and Estates.
I'm Todd Pianin at Samuel Scott Financial Group.
And we'll be right back with you next week. God bless you.